Good afternoon. Welcome to County Connection. I'm your host, Supervisor Darrell Seymour, and today we have our guest, Glenn Kephart, used to be the County Manager, Navajo County, and Grant Evans, who's our technical advisor today. So, you know, great to have both of you here today.
Thank you, Supervisor. Appreciate the opportunity.
Today we're going to talk a little bit about something that's very exciting to me and to you, both of you, and I appreciate the work that you guys have put together and continue to work on to make broadband something that's effective and into the future for Navajo County. I believe it was April of 2020 when we sat down as a Board of Supervisors in a retreat and we talked about what could we do with some of our ARPA funds to have the biggest impact on Navajo County, not only currently but going forward. And we set aside money for a broadband project. And we were successful in setting aside $10 million, and then we were successful in getting a grant that was almost matched that $10 million. So we've had $20 million. Tell us a little bit, Glenn, where that project of broadband is right now and some exciting things that have happened and what you'd like to share about that.
Well, thank you, Supervisor, and thank you to you and the other supervisors for having the vision to set the money aside for these projects. The money that you're talking about freed up $20 million that at the time we were doing a strategic plan to determine what Navajo County needed. We knew we had internet connectivity capacity problems, but how do we fix that? And out of that strategic plan, we came up with a project to build what's called a middle mile network. Middle mile being, if you think of the roadways, it's kind of like your arterial systems connecting to the I-40 or the interstate. And this middle mile would go from Joe City to Holbrook, south through Snowflake Taylor, Show Low, Pine Top Lakeside, and out to Heber Overguard to create us a loop that has high capacity for fiber in it. That's a $20 million project. We're currently working on that. And as we'll talk a little bit more about, that project leads us to the next discussion of the BEAD program that will actually provide the funds through the federal dollars to bring that internet to people's homes.
Thank you, appreciate that. The BEAD program, and I know Grant, you've worked very much with this as well as with the broadband, but in a nutshell, the BEAD program is something that was federal dollars that set aside $45 billion throughout the United States. Arizona was successful in getting $993 million, and kind of explain the BEAD program, what it does and how we determine who may be eligible or how that's going to help local people improve their internet in their homes.
Sure. Thank you, Supervisor. So the BEAD program is it aims to build last mile service to all unserved, underserved, and community anchor institutions across our country. So the $1 billion that you referenced in Arizona, that will it will pair very nicely with our project, as they'll be able to use our project to get to these eligible residences. Eligible residents are those that are unserved, which is 25 megabits per second download and 3 megabytes per second upload. So if you don't have access to that service, you're considered unserved by definition, and this money will be used to build to your residents. Then from there they will go to the underserved population, which is between that 25 and 3 speed all the way up to 100 upload and 20 download. And then if there's still funding left over in the state of Arizona, from there, this BEAD fund will build to our community anchor institutions, which are our, facilities. Think of facilities such as schools, libraries, healthcare institutions, government facilities, those kind of things.
So it's a big project that you have to go out and identify almost each and every household or community as to what service it has currently.
That's exactly right. So the state has come up with that list via a map that's available to everyone to view. But there's an opportunity as part of the program to scrutinize that map and to really make sure there are no inaccuracies and to make sure that everybody is properly accounted for that should be.
So it's kind of like a challenge process that we have to make sure that we've vetted it and we've submitted it. And so how long is the process do we have to work on that?
Yeah, so that's where the program is moving into right now. So that's a 60-day process, and it starts here on March 14th, and it will run through mid-May. And that's our only opportunity to get this right.
So we're coming up on the deadline in a couple of months that we're having that.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's right.
Now, we haven't done that all totally with Navajo County. We've got experts that are working and helping us here. Glenn, kind of share with us a little bit on the broadband, who we had help us design and work on putting together the broadband system.
So we contracted with a firm, Magellan Advisors, and they have helped communities throughout the U.S. Look at their broadband needs, and looking at what broadband do we have, what internet services do we currently have, what are planned, what are the things that are in the works, and put that all together to figure out where the gaps are. And that resulted in our gap being the middle mile service. And since they've done that, we've had validation from the regional NACOG and the state broadband office through the ACA that the project that we picked was one of their best projects that they've seen for the future of internet in not just Navajo County, but Arizona, because our project has the capacity to connect to I-40, and eventually from Joseph City, it will go all the way down to Phoenix. So it'll be like we're connected, having internet of the same capacity and speeds as somebody in Phoenix would have it. That also provides a great opportunity, and we've had discussions with Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, who's interested in using a piece of what we're building to provide internet to Navajo and Hopi in the north. And then looking to the south, we go all the way to Pine Top. That will connect eventually to Apache County, which through ADOT and Apache County, they're also looking at a route that would go down 191 and connect all the way to southern Arizona to I-10. Wow. and Pima County. So you can see how what we're building is a piece of a much larger network that's needed. It'll most directly be a benefit to the residents and properties and businesses in Navajo County, but in the big picture, it'll be a benefit to the state of Arizona.
Well, that's huge. And, you know, again, thank you for what you've worked on this, of being able to find partners as we work through it. I know you worked it was very hard in the beginning because the rules were kind of spelled out there and nobody really knew what was happening. You sifted through many of those things, and through the Arizona Commerce Authority, we were able to, you know, be almost one of the first recipients of the grant. In fact, we even bought our fiber already before we had a chance to put it in the ground, for cost savings going into that as well.
So, well, thanks for that. I would add that it hasn't gotten easy yet. But it's a big deal, and I would just use a transportation analogy. It was like in the 1950s, United States built an interstate system, which is crucial to our national security and our economy and everything. What's happening now with the BEAD program is equivalent to building that in the world of communication.
You know, communication is vital to everything. We saw it during COVID, how cut off some people were from the rest of, you know, health care and different things that were needed when people couldn't really leave their homes, and they didn't have some of the services, and some of the services that have evolved as a result of that, and the more need for internet services. So Grant, who have you worked with on this BEAD program to be able to identify the sources, and the different cities and towns I know have been involved as well with you?
Yeah. So Navajo County has partnered with all of our cities and towns, as well as the Northland Pioneer College, excuse me, and we have went out and procured a consultant to help navigate and help us with this process. We just feel it's important to get this right. It's a once-in-a-lifetime funding. So we have a consultant by the name of High Street, and they're going to help us with this project. They're very familiar with the BEAD program and the challenge process, and they're on board, and we're already standing up many tools to engage with our citizens and to execute on this challenge process and to capitalize on the amount of funds we can bring into our county.
What are some of the tools that are going to be available for somebody maybe to either check their speeds or find out maybe where they're at on a map or what it looks like that they might be able to get service?
Yeah, so we want to make this as user-friendly as possible for our residents. So we're going to it'll be directed through our Navajo County, NavajoCountyAZ.gov website, and you'll go there and it'll have a whole toolkit of useful Q&As and facts and links to help guide you. And it will also take you to, if you as a resident feel like your property is not identified correctly, it'll take you to the map where you can check that first, and then where you can submit a speed test, and it'll walk you through the process right there. And that'll all run through our website, which will direct you to the ACA's website, and to help you do the speed test that you'll need to do.
That's neat. So that's a link that will be coming up and be able to help people identify exactly where they stand, where it's at.
Yeah, and I would add to that, we're going to mail out probably approximately 20,000 postcards to residents who are currently shown on the map as served, and encourage them to take a look. Maybe your internet's not always what it should be. I shared with you, I have great internet, but it went down yesterday afternoon when I needed it. To do the speed test and submit that to the portal, and it'll all be explained. And I would add that when you go to our website and you look at the map, and if you're shown as an unserved or an underserved property, you probably won't get a postcard because you're already eligible for the money, and the money will be directed to your property. It's the properties that are shown as served that might not be, that we're going to be targeting to send postcards out and ask people to participate. They can make a difference.
That's great. That's great. You know, I know people have seen there's a lot of cell towers, a lot of different ways of information, of connecting and being able to communicate. And I think this is what we call a backbone. This is very stable, very, it's in the ground, like you said, it's more secure. It's going to have, fiber running out. It's something that I don't know about. It's a whole different world. We want to talk of cows or insurance, and I'll talk with you about it. But when we talk about the little round thing that's going to run a million miles an hour and take things across, is something that technology has done, and in our market, the broadband has been very productive and very reliable. And to have that, now there'll be companies that will be able to link into this broadband. The county owns the main part of the broadband, is that correct? And then other companies will be able to service the customers that will link into that broadband?
Yes, sir. The middle mile that the county is building, the county will own that, but then they will lease it. The county doesn't have any desire to get in the internet service providing. Yeah. And so the county will lease those fibers to individual ISPs, internet service providers, to then use that to get the capacity they need to get into the neighborhood. And it's my understanding, and I know with you, that the county is looking to lease that fiber at a very competitive, desirable rate for the ISPs, so that they can pass on the lower cost to the homeowners.
Right. Well, thank you. Is there anything else we need to touch on here about the BEAD, or there's groundbreaking, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
Glenn, when's that going to happen?
There is a groundbreaking scheduled for April 23rd. It will be at Navajo County Fairgrounds. There'll be a lot of information on the county's website and social media as we get closer to the date, but we're really excited about that. And
and as far as the BEAD program, I would just say that we really encourage participation. We need the citizens' help to make sure that our county is properly identified on the maps, and the postcards will be in the mail, and just please pay attention to them and check your residence.
Thank you. So really the backbone of this thing we can handle, but we need your help with the BEAD program so that we get it into every program, every home and every business. And so watch for that, get on the website, be proactive so that we have the best communication we have. Exactly. Guys, I'm grateful for you being here today, taking time out of your day to come and discuss this important thing. And it's going to be a success. It's going to be one of the successful things for Navajo County, but like you said, it's going to be a backbone also for Arizona and for being able to network with people throughout the White Mountains as well as the state of Arizona. And we thank our federal government for the initiative that they put forward. We thank our state and our Commerce Authority for recognizing our need up here in this area, as well as the different tribal people that will be able to join in and make that happen. And so it's kind of a unique program that's going to involve a lot of different federal agencies as well as state and tribal agencies too. So.
And Supervisor, if I could, and as a county resident, thank you to you and the fellow supervisors for having the vision and making it clear to staff that this was important and we needed to move things forward and actually providing the resources necessary to make that real. So as a resident, I appreciate that.
You're welcome and appreciate it. Well, thank you for joining us today on Navajo Connection. We look forward to visiting with you in the future. Again, go to our website, navajocountyaz.gov, and look for that link on your BEAD program, and let's make this a community effort to make the very best connection we possibly can. Thank you and have a great day.